What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to our Alien review series with Durbin. Durbin, say hello.
Hello, I'm Durbin. Thank you, Cody, for having me back on your channel and going through this Alien franchise. You can find our odd number Alien movies on my channel, our even number here on Cody's channel, and check out my channel, Durbania, and come hang out, have a good time. I do movie reviews, spoiler talks, reading way too much into, where I get philosophical about movies, trailer reactions. It's fun.
Yes, go check out Durbania. And we are now at the AVP section of this Alien story. We've gotten through Alien 1 through Resurrection. We got AVP dropping on Durbania as you see this video, and now we are here to talk about the sequel, AVP Requiem. So quick thoughts, Durbin. We both enjoyed AVP. What did you think about the darker, bloodier sequel, Requiem?
You know, I know we talked about in AVP, one of your biggest disappointments was PG-13, cutaways from the deaths and the gruesomeness.
Mm-hmm.
No amount of them going darker, and no amount of them showing more gore, no amount of that was kind of able to save this movie for me. I had lower expectations for the franchise of AVP until I watched the first AVP, and I had more fun than I thought I was going to have with it and really enjoyed it. So I came into this one with different expectations. Like, I liked Alex Woods, and so I was kind of hoping that this sequel would be like the queen alien they drowned in the ice water was going to rise back up in Antarctica, and she would be the only one that could face it, and they would bring her back. Like, I had different ideas in my head of what this was going to be. AVP ending with the chest thing popping out of the Predator at the very last frame there. I was like, oh, some cool stuff there. So, like, I had stuff that I was looking forward to, but this movie just did not grab my attention. Like, I felt the first one was focused. We're in this pyramid. We're in this confined space. We have two species battling it out. But this one, I don't know, man. Like, it was in a small town, so it's like, okay, so we're really gonna go sci-fi horror B-movie here. Do the traditional small town, some monster town bands together. Okay, so we're gonna do something like that. I don't even know what to say, dude. It just did not get me.
The biggest thing that I can say about AVP Requiem, if I'm going to describe it, like, if you describe the story of Alien versus Predator, you say, well, there's this rich billionaire and he wants to uncover this ancient artifact pyramid that he finds, so he gathers these people together, a bunch of different expertise. They go in, and lo and behold, there's this ancient, like, epic thing going on where predators use this as a battleground to destroy aliens, and now the humans are stuck in this epic fight between predators and aliens, and who's going to win? And then they say, okay, well, that's the story for AVP Requiem. Aliens and predators fight, and that's about all you can say about this movie. You know, just like you said, like, it gives me the one thing that I wanted more out of an AVP, which is more gore, and they definitely give you more of that, but everything else sucks. Like, the story is just nothing. You get the pred alien that's birthed at the beginning of this movie, which is the tail end of the AVP, which is the hybrid between predators and aliens. And then
that was a cool concept, but it was sometimes confusing to look at on screen because the picture was so dark. So sometimes I'm sitting there going, am I looking at the predator or the alien? Yeah,
exactly. It was a cool design for the 2 minutes out of the 90 minutes that you can actually tell what the hell it is. But it causes this predator ship to crash, and now, like you said, in this small town, now you have xenomorphs and predators coming down trying to basically contain the situation. And that's basically the only story that you have. You're introduced to numerous human characters when you're not attached or care about any of them. And it's such a strange sequel because it takes what was so great about the first one, all these inventive, creative, lore-building things, and they basically just water it down to show aliens and predators fighting for 90 minutes. Man, just like you said, I'm curious what the budget of this movie is and how much money they saved on lights, because there is not a single freaking light in this entire movie. It is so dark. I mean, it makes it makes Underworld: Rise of the Lycans look like it was just gleaming, because there is.
And that was hard, and I was worried because, you know, I was watching this movie in the middle of the afternoon, so I was worried that I just picked the wrong time of day to watch this, because, you know, sometimes the sun's coming in through the window, so something's dark on the screen, you can't see it. It's like, should I just watch this at night or something? But, like, it was just so hard to see. On top of the fact, I want to touch on something you said earlier. If you were to describe the story of AVP, even though it really is kind of just a B movie, it has a very epic premise. Ancient period. Ancient period. Ancient pyramid. where it gives you tremendous lore between predators and aliens and what these two species have to do with each other, including humans, and what humans' role were in that. It introduces you to characters in an epic way because it's about an exploration of this ancient thing. So you meet human characters and grow attached to them because it gives you a backstory and a purpose and a reason for why they're doing what they're doing. So this movie had an extra element of stuff that worked. This one, like you said, it was just, well, what can we do? I don't know. I think people really just wanted to watch the aliens and predators fight, so let's just do that and not worry about anything else.
Yeah, and that could have succeeded in some sections if you could see the damn fights. But, you know, it's just... They spend so much time on the human story in this, trying to interest you in these characters, trying to interest you in their various side arcs, if you will, and they fail on every single one of them. I mean, you got Stephen Pascal, who I only know his name because he was in Rescue Me at the time, who's kind of like this tough guy that just got out of prison, and he does not nail that role at all. And part of that is probably because I know him from Rescue Me, and he's kind of the dumbass of the group. So I can't really... It's hard for me to separate that for going from the dumbass to the tough guy, you know, ex-con. And then you have the younger brother who gets kind of bullied, and obviously the most attractive girl in town has a crush on him for some reason, but he doesn't understand why, and he doesn't have the balls enough to talk to her.
Which, honestly, I didn't understand why. And that's not an insult to the little brother being bullied. It's an insult to that girl who I didn't like at all.
Yeah.
Like, I just thought her character was shallow from the beginning. And we're supposed to kind of have a cute, lovey-dovey high school love story that I guess is supposed to add that tension later when stuff really goes down. But I'm just looking at this like, that didn't do anything for me. This girl is just... She's just a typical high school sleep-around girl. That's what she is.
Yes.
And she is the typical teenage, blonde, I'm full of myself girl. And there was nothing about her that attached me to her or made me, you know, want the brother to end up with her. And also, I didn't like the brother. I don't know. I just didn't get attached to these people.
Well, what's funny is the thing that I kept thinking about for some reason, which has nothing to do with this movie, but I'm going to talk about it anyway because there's not enough things to talk about to fill out a full review in this movie, is that the guy who played the younger brother, the one who is with, you know, Miss Blonde Promiscuous, is actually another cast member from Sons of Anarchy. So when I thought about it, Alien Resurrection has Ron Perlman, who's from Sons of Anarchy. AVP has the guy who plays Chibs, who's from Sons of Anarchy. And this one, the guy in the younger brother plays a character named Half-Sack because he lost one of his balls in the war. So it's...
I need to watch
so
this show.
I see him and I was like, I haven't seen this movie in so long. I saw it and I was like, holy crap, it's Half-Sack. And what's so funny is that, well, it's not really funny actually, is that there's a really twisted story about this actor, which also really prevented me from getting into his character, is that he actually left the show in season 2, and he was a major character because he was kind of discovering religion, and he didn't want any of the elements of Sons of Anarchy in his life, and he's going to go on this, you know, this glowing path away from the darkness of Sons of Anarchy. And then, I don't know all the details of it, but I think he murders his landlord and then committed suicide, like, a year later.
Wow.
So, a wild story with that guy. But anyway, back to AVP Requiem. So, you have a collection of characters that you don't care about. Now, one of the things that really disappointed me in this, aside from the story elements that not really be in there, is that I felt like there was a huge missed opportunity with the Pred alien, because that's such a cool design and such a cool concept. And basically the way that they go through is the Pred alien becomes like the alpha of the xenomorphs, and you have one predator basically trying to clean up the situation and get rid of all of it. Now, to me, it would have made for a much more interesting movie if you're not going to focus on good human characters. If the Pred alien was more of like an abomination in the eyes of both species. Like the xenomorphs look at it and go, no, that is not one of us. And the predators look at it and says, no, that is not one of us. And at some point in the movie, the two species have to team up to take down this massive Pred alien hybrid beast. Like, I just came up with that while the camera was rolling, no lie, and that sounds like such a better movie than what we got.
Oh, that does sound like a way better movie than we got. Oh my gosh. That's a good idea, Cody.
Yeah.
Holy cow. I really wanted to get into this movie, but, like, none of the characters were that likable to me. None of them really attached me to them. And then the ending of this movie was stupid ridiculous.
Yeah.
They just nuked the town.
Yeah.
And it killed the Predator. It killed the alien. So there's no final who was stronger, the Pred alien or the Predator. There was no real epic final battle there with a conclusion.
Yeah.
They just got nuked. The whole town just got nuked. And okay, I could get it if you want to go for something different, but it was just so unsatisfying.
Yeah.
That on top of everything else in this movie, where half the time, Cody, I was daydreaming. Like I would catch myself staring into space and realize I had missed about 10 minutes and I don't know where we're at or what's going on. And then I didn't even care enough to rewind it. Like I just let it keep going.
Yeah, I'm not gonna.
But then to get that unsatisfactory ending, it just made me mad.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I've rewatched all these movies in preparation for our reviews. This is the only one that I've had to put in twice because I fell asleep. I fell asleep and I missed the last 45 minutes. And so last night I put it back in and I'm like, oh, I could have just assumed the last 45 minutes because there's nothing creative here. But yeah, they nuked the town, and to me that was just like, because the first one was directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. This one's directed by these guys named the Strauss Brothers, who the only other thing they've done besides this is that movie Skyline that came out, which I never saw but heard it was one of the worst movies ever. So
I never saw that either.
Yeah, there's no question why that you don't hear those names anymore. But to me, this was like a ripoff of the ending of Resident Evil Apocalypse, which was a Paul W.S. Anderson film. It's, okay, there's monsters in this town, I don't feel like putting forth the effort to kill them, so just nuke the town. And it was kind of what they did. And then you have the little tail end stinger, which is supposed to be this crazy moment, but it's more confusing than anything else, where they get the one Predator weapon that was recovered, and the guy's like, this isn't for our world, is it, Miss Yutani? And you realize that the AVP and AVP Requiem is really just kind of like an origin story for how Wayland and Yutani came together to make Wayland Yutani, which is the company of the Alien franchise. And it's just such a weird direction because these movies don't fit with that franchise. So
honestly, it was the one point of interest I had in this movie.
Yeah.
But it felt like it was shoved in because they wanted to give this movie a purpose.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of the filler episodes, the Freak of the Week episodes of Smallville, where it's like, these are so bad and there's no reason to be sitting here watching this, but they'll throw in that one key point that's like, see, you needed this so you could continue onward. And I felt like that's kind of what they did. It's like, well, we need one thing in this movie that ties it all together, so let's just shove that in.
Yeah, exactly. It's like they looked at the reception of AVP, which regardless how much me and you like it, it's very mixed to negative. And they said, okay, well, Paul W.S. Anderson's not coming back. I don't really want to put too much effort or time or money into coming up with a story. What's the one thing that we can change from that to this? And that's the rating. And they said, okay, just make it gory as hell and people will like it. And there are some fans of this movie for that element alone. And to be fair, the only small shred of a positive I can give in this movie is there is some cool gore effects here and there. And it is a very unforgiving movie as far as the gore. Like, it shows a child getting the chest burster blow out of his chest. It shows a lot of really gory shots of guys getting their heads blown off by plasma casters and stuff like that. Probably one of the best effects in this movie, if not the best effect, is whenever this woman has like this this wound that's kind of like vibrating and moving around, and then it blows open and it's like a nest of chest bursters. There's like 5 or 6 of them. That's a really cool shot, but aside from that, like you said, I mean, you got to trek through so much shit to get to that one scene. It's like, I'll just watch it on YouTube and get that one scene and that one shot, and I'll just move on with my life.
But then you get to that one scene, and like we just remarked, like they had one light for this movie, and that's it. So it's like, it's so hard to even see that cool stuff. But I don't know. I really tried to like this one because I liked AVP so much, but I just... Like, I was getting nervous for this review because I'm like, I can't even make myself pay attention.
Yeah, exactly. It was rough. I mean, I remember liking this movie when it first came out for some reason. I was like 17, and I think it was just because of the gore. I was like, oh, cool, it's rated R, and, you know, I was just a mindless 17-year-old. Like,
that was the other comment I wanted to make. I think the reason that the gore to me is not even as impressive in this one, because it felt like overkill. It's like, oh, well, that's a complaint from our PG-13 thing. All right, so let's just go the total opposite way and do it for its sake, rather than, you know, like Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection, all the gore and all the stuff, it made sense. It was with the story, and it added to it. It added something to what you were seeing. In this, it was just like, oh, they complained about not... Okay, they complained, so we'll just go ahead and do it over here.
Yeah, exactly. Save the money on lights, buy blood.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's pretty much how it was. But yeah, I agree. I don't think there's a whole lot more we could say about it. Just,
no, I got nothing.
You want to wrap up your thoughts and give your rating?
To wrap up my thoughts, I had no real interest in the AVP stuff until I watched the first one. I was surprised by how much I enjoyed the first AVP, which just kind of raised my expectations a little too high for this one, and I just felt like this one failed the AVP franchise bad. I kind of feel like you could have done cool things with this Alien vs. Predator franchise. You could have done a cool trilogy, but I just feel like this one kind of just tanked it. But I'm going to give it a D, which is better than the F I gave Alien 3. Because even though I had a hard time paying attention in this movie, I still liked it better than the third Alien movie.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Yeah, this movie just doesn't have a whole lot to offer. Like you said, it really squanders any potential that they could have squeezed out of this franchise. And it just felt dead on arrival. It felt like they had no idea what to do with it. They had no idea what to do for a story. They didn't really have any idea on anybody interesting to cast or to write as a character in this movie. They just said, bring the aliens back, bring the predators back, save the money on the lights, buy some blood. And for all of those reasons, I think you should skip it. Like I said, and just like Durbin says, it's still better than Alien 3, but it's not worth your attention. It's not worth your money. It's not worth anything. Just skip it. So,
I agree.
That is the review for AVP Requiem. Not very big fans of it. Go over to Durbania right now and check out our AVP review, as well as the rest of our Alien franchise review. Odd numbers being on his channel, and even numbers being on this channel if you haven't already. Durbin, tell us where we can find those videos.
You can find me at Durbania. You go to YouTube, type in Durbania. I should be the first and only one that pops up there. And like Cody, I do movie reviews, both spoiler-free and spoiler talks. I have a segment that I really like called Reading Way Too Much Into, where I dive into movies and their plots and get overly philosophical and find meanings that maybe aren't there, but you can find there if you're really looking. And I do trailer reactions and all kinds of fun things like that. So try to have some fun over there. Come over and join it.
Yep, go over there, hit the subscribe button there. Please like and share this video and hit the subscribe button on this channel if this is your first time watching me. Like I said, check out the rest of our Alien reviews. We have also a lot of other collaborations on both of our channels, so check those out. And keep an eye out for our Prometheus reviews and our Alien Covenant reviews, which will be coming around the corner here in the next couple of weeks. So hit the subscribe button on the way out, and if you want to check out a few more of our videos, you can check out a few more by clicking right over here.